Morning everyone. So yesterday we got like maybe an inch of snow, but then last night we probably got, I don't know, a quarter of an inch of ice. And now it's supposed to warm up to 40 degrees. So right now, I don't know if you can hear it without me walking, but it sounds like it's raining in the woods because all this ice is coming down off these trees. The kids had a 2-hour delay this morning, so I got one on the bus and I got to get one more, but I've got to get some stuff done today, and really I got to get in the woods and check for some leaks. First thing though is the new RO showed up, and I've got to send some pictures to my electrician so that he can get a plug for me, and then basically he knows what we're working with. So I just got to get him some pictures, but it barely fits in there though, is kind of the hard part. There's not a lot of room in here right now. The membrane's not in the canister yet, or in the housing, it's still in the box. And I got to get it plumbed up. Plumbing's going to take a little while. I'm not really looking forward to that one, but for right now, we got to get power first, because then once I can get power, then I can get it plumbed. So we'll do that. So this crusty crap that's on the ground actually broke up pretty good when I was loading the four-wheeler, and the driveway's a mess. It's still, call it raining in the woods, ice and wetness coming off the trees. So rather than get in there and end up with all of that snow down my neck, because it's not going to end up like next to me or in front of me, it'll be all down my neck, I'm going to give the woods a minute, let this stuff kind of come off. But I'm going to scrape the driveway. Tractor's warming up. I did get some gloves though, because they're already kind of cold, but hanging on that steering wheel will be even colder. So I'll get this thing scraped up. Hey, what are you all wound up about? Huh? He's wound up about something, I don't know. There, this stuff didn't clean up too bad. I mean, down by the sugar house, it left a little meal on it, which is fine. But I think it'll be better, because now I won't have to deal with that disaster. I didn't do up across the yard. I just didn't want to tear that all to hell. But now I've got my goodie bags together, well, the things I think I'm going to need over there, and get over there and get these woods checked. So the other day after I fired the pump up, vacuum really wasn't coming up that good, so I ran up in there in work boots, which was dumb. I should have had my rubber boots on, because I fell through into the water a bunch. But I had a handful of issues, made a list of what I need, so I've got a little goodie bag with me. But then my monitoring system, the Sap Spies, they're just not communicating right. I mean, 2 of them work great. Emailed Jeff at Sap Spy. I'm going to try and make a couple adjustments and see if we can get all these reporting in, because the other 2 should be too. So do that, but we got to check the pump first. Well, it is definitely like raining and nasty in here, so most of that's going to go down my neck. But coming down to the vacuum building, I can tell I don't have a lot going on right now as far as leaks, because there's not a lot of exhaust coming out of the stack. But we'll check the pump, just make sure. I can hear the RPMs. Those sound like they're right about 900, so see how close I am. No, they're at 1,000. So there's a few small leaks up in there, is what that's telling me. That is what it is right now, but go down, we'll get checking the releaser and see what else we can find in here. Vacuum's at 28 inches. There's plenty warm in here. It's like 50 degrees in here. No leaks. No sap either though, so maybe something today. So I'm here at B1, and this is one of the lines that I found a screw up on. So I'm gonna bring some stuff. I missed a couple taps. It was either on this one or B2 that I missed a couple taps right at the end of the line. So I gotta bring everything. Now the other thing I figured out the other day, and it was when I was setting up a customer's Exactap, is that I had mine on upside down. And I didn't really realize that, but I flipped it. But what I did do though is I gave it a little bit of an angle, just because I find myself kind of with my hand kicked off to the side a little bit when I'm tapping. So I kicked mine it a little bit to try and get it so it's probably straighter. I don't know. We'll see how it works, but it'll probably do the same thing. It'll probably still tap a tree. But, so I gotta lug everything today. I gotta lug the tapper. I'm bringing the two-handed tool instead of the one-handed tool just because I've got a couple leaks I gotta fix. I need the tapping hammer. I got clippers, I got pipe. Let's go get this done. This is gonna be kind of a challenge, A, to hear leaks, but B, to see them, because everything's covered in ice. But it's not really running yet either, so we'll see how we can. This is one of the issues I found the other day. A squirrel chew. Luckily I had a roll of electrical tape with me. I was able to get that taken care of. It's still got a leak on it, but I'm just going to cut this whole loop out and then fix it. There, all better, no more leak. Somehow I walked right by this tree, so I totally missed this tap, so I probably ought to put this one in. Yeah, now I go back get the four-wheeler because, like I said, I can't find any leaks right now. You can't hear nothing, you can't see it, everything's covered in ice. So we'll go up to the next spot. So an issue that I found, I'm just gonna find it again, was one of these saddles that was affected when that tree came down during that storm and took down this C1 line, that a saddle got displaced and it was leaking. So here it is right here. The other day I came up in and the gasket was all messed up, it was all twisted, it's just not in great shape. So I had some wire ties with me and I just kind of squished it down on enough to get it so it would work, but it's not right. So I'm just gonna change the whole thing because it's all messed up. There, that one's all better. One thing, and I don't know how I missed it, but the saddle was missing part of it. This is one of the leader quick seals. It was missing a piece of it and it somehow stayed hooked up, but I don't have wire ties with me, but it should be all right now and it's not leaking. So this fix is better. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I find that when I'm tapping, you kind of like, you get into a zone and you're just tapping away and you're following the lines, and then afterwards you find out that your zone really had your head up your dupa because you're finding a whole bunch of issues. So here's a couple of them right here. So this is just one. I tapped those 2-3 trees right there and then walked right by this one, and it's a 2-tapper. So I can tell I walked by because there's not even a footprint around it. So I'll get these two in. Another genius move. I mean, you know how we say you get into a rhythm? This is one I found the other day. I could hear it from 100 yards, where I changed the T, or the drop, and it's supposed to be a dead end, and I just put a regular in, but I cut off the old dead end, but I put a midline in. So now it was just pissing, so I just plugged it off. But what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to cut out that T and just put another dead end T, but I got to get a four-wheeler. So that was 3 that I missed on just this line, and now for some reason I'm thinking that there was more right here, but I might be wrong. I'm not sure. Found my other hero move of the day. This was where I reworked the A5 line going into the wet dry, and I reworked a lot of these laterals that they were longer runs. They pull in more now to A2. But this one I cut off the saddle and I didn't do anything with it, so now I get to put a plug in because this thing was just sitting here sucking. Threw some electrical tape over it to get me by, and yeah, it is what it is. But I'm just gonna throw an end hook plug into it. I'm up here at the CB3 monitor, and this one's just not reporting back in, and it's a repeater, which is weird. So now I know that this one's in repeater mode. I'm gonna go back down to the B1, B2 and flip that one into repeater mode, and I think that should hopefully get it back down. But I couldn't remember if this one was the repeater or the other one, but this one is, and it's on. It's just not getting the signal down from A3 and 5. So we'll go to this node. I just flipped that into make it a repeater, so hopefully it'll take the signal, bounce it to here, and then bounce it back down, which will hopefully make things better. We'll see how it goes, but it's still, I mean, it's warming up in here, but it's still, everything's covered in ice. It's still raining. I think I'm gonna go home, get some other tools. I got another project to work on, and then probably come back here later is my hunch. So we'll see. So I had myself a nice little lunch while I was home. Had some chips and salsa and some cookies and a high test Pepsi. You know, crushing the lunches as always. Then I had a little bit of time, so I changed the oil in my truck and the fuel filter. That's still a pain to change, in case anyone was wondering. It's not my favorite thing in the world. But I'm headed back over to the woods now, and it's warmed up enough that I think it may be running, but I don't know. But those monitors, they came right back to life once. Well, they didn't come back to life. Those 2 up top are now reading consistently like they're supposed to. So just turning that one to that repeater, that solved a lot of problems. So I'm gonna go over there and see if we can find some leaks. Hopefully the sap's running a little bit, and yeah. Well, most of the ice has come off of the trees now, and it's not really raining in here. But the sap is definitely not running. I think these trees, I think they're just plain cold, and they're taking a while to thaw. I mean, there's a little bit of action going on, but barely to not even enough to check for leaks. I mean, most of the time I'm just getting lucky and trying to find something that'll tell me if there's a leak, but it's hard. These things aren't running yet. They're still cold, but I'm gonna try and check everything and eliminate big stuff, which I think I got most of. I'd like another 1.5 inches of vacuum, but I like on that one, but I'm not getting lucky everywhere finding sap in the lines, that's for sure. Oh, the issues you can find. I just come up and I'm pushing down on my loops like I always do, checking for leaks. I push down on this one and it makes an air burst. because it's missing the other half of the saddle. If I don't touch it, it's not leaking. I don't have saddle parts with me to fix that. So tomorrow I get to do that. That's the nice thing about early season, is you can check all this stuff ahead of time. This lateral here on B3 had a little bit of a fast bubble in it, which I was surprised, and I'm like, maybe it's just the trees running. I decided to run my fingers over it, and I get up here and I got one right here. There's a squirrel chew, and just like that, no more leak. There's a little bit of sap running. Not really enough to amount to anything though. This one's got a leak. So it's going fast here, but slow in that drop. Tells me it's out further. That one I can't find, so I'm not sure what that one is. I'm gonna do my leak check on C3 here. This one's got this main plus 2 more on it, so check and see what we got. There's something up. One of my problems is right here. This lateral had to change direction because a tree, well, it went to hell. So I moved it to get it off of it, and then the lateral started pulling up the main, and it pulled on the saddle. Well, now the saddle is leaking the gasket because it was twisted and all out of shape, and I don't have saddle parts with me, so, or even wire ties, so I can't even just pull it tight. But it's got a little bit of a leak on it. It's not terrible. I just marked it with some tape, that way I can come back to this one. I think I can just change the gasket on that, I think. So, not today though. This tree's starting to wake up. There's plenty of tree gas coming out, and you can see even with that little bit of speed, there's not a leak on this one. That's just the tree gas. It's not bringing enough sap up, so you can't really, there's nothing moving up there. I mean, a little bit, but that's all just tree gas coming out of these. So I got the B system and the C system checked. Nothing real major, just that one squirrel chew, and then that saddle that needs a new gasket, but that's not terrible. I'm gonna check A1, well, A2, A3, and A5. This is my plan. Probably A1 too, but I've only got about a half hour left before I've got to go get Brooke, so and it's kind of getting dark. The days are getting longer, but they're not there yet. So I'll just check these valves real quick, see if we got leaks, and then get to walking. Nothing on A1. I really need to change this valve to a stainless one. Didn't hear anything. I just can't really work it smooth, but didn't sound like there's a leak there, so just keep doing my thing and checking more of these. This section up here on A5 is definitely a challenge checking for leaks, because these things are so high up that you've got to look back a long ways to find if there's a leak. It's just, this is going to be a challenge now, but I'm sitting with 27 inches of vacuum on the line when it used to be froze up, so we'll see. I came in on the top of A5, so now I'm going to check it with the valve just to see if I missed anything. I don't think so. I think it's good up there. So I'm gonna call today a successful first lap through the woods. All the big leaks are taken care of that I can find. Vacuum's up, sitting at just under 27 inches, which that's pretty well where the vacuum pump's set right now anyways. I got a bunch of stuff done at home, got the oil changed in my truck, fuel filter changed. I'm kind of sitting pretty good now. It's just a matter of waiting for this weather to change and get it to warm up. I mean, we're still early, it's January, I get it, but I've got the majority of my work done. Now it's just a matter of getting some other stuff done, like getting the RO plumbed up and getting that ready. That's the next big hurdle I got to work on, but I got to get it wired first. then I can get it stuffed in there and get everything plumbed up, which won't be bad, just time consuming. So we'll see you guys in the next one.